today. And from April 4 to April 25, we will be conducting field implementation of these kits in 5 facilities. At inaasahan natin, this field implementation will conduct 26,000 tests. Maraming salamat po, UP. Now, despite all the support and love our country has shown our health workers, it is unfortunate that we have received reports that these frontliners have come under attack. To address this, the Philippine National Police Chief Archie Gamboa has directed all police units to provide every possible assistance and security to medical staff and health workers following violent attacks in Cebu and Sultan Kudarat. Threatening the safety of our health workers in the midst of this crisis is unacceptable. And the PNP is committed to apply the full might of the law against those who dare to harm our health workers. And we'll do whatever it takes to protect them from crime, violence, and any form of oppression and discrimination. Hindi po tayo papayag na galawin ang ating mga bayani. Batid po namin na dahil suspendido ang mass transport systems, hirap ang mga frontliners nating makarating sa ospital. To address this, the government has provided 16 daily bus routes around Metro Manila and its suburbs to shuttle health workers to and from their duty stations. Aside from this, the DPWH has deployed 402 vehicles nationwide to serve as transportation services for our frontliners and our health workers. For the added peace of mind of our health workers, PNP personnel manning quarantine control stations are under instructions to assist them and escort them if necessary to their assigned hospitals. The DPWH has also played a role in efforts to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Through its field units, the DPWH provides disinfection and sanitation services for vehicles traversing national highways and public establishments and places via installed sanitation tents and gantry facilities. It has installed a total of 336 decontamination tents and 76 gantries were installed, and also decontaminated 415 convergence areas such as checkpoints, government facilities, schools, hospitals, and markets. Habang ginagawa po ang mga ito, importante pa rin po na lahat tayo magtulungan upang di kumalat ang COVID-19. That is why the safest place for everyone during this quarantine is at home. Alam po namin na may mga kababayan tayo na maapektuhan dahil sa di sila makapagtrabaho habang pinapatupad natin ang ECQ. Kaya naman po, inilunsad ang 200 billion peso emergency subsidy program na magbibigay ng tulong pinansyal sa 18 million families. Each family, depending on the minimum wage in their respective regions, will receive subsidies ranging from 5,000 to 8,000 pesos. Our local chief executives have already been advised of the need to submit the list of beneficiaries in their respective areas to the national government. And we urge the public to cooperate and work with their LGUs so that they can receive these subsidies at the soonest possible time. Sa mga di pamilyar sa proseso, hinihikayat po namin kayo na makipag-ugnayan po sa inyong mga LGU o pumunta sa DSWD Facebook page kung saan may mga gabay sa pag-fill out ng Social Amelioration Card na kinakailangan po ninyo para nakakailanganin nyo po para makatanggap ng Social Amelioration Package. Hintayin lamang po ang hudyat o anunsyo ng inyong mga LGU hinggil sa takdang pagsimula ng pamamahagi ng benepisyong ito. Ngayon na may pera po tayo, ang susunod na tanong ay may mabibili ba sa ating mga merkado? According to the Department of Agriculture, we should not be concerned as basic food requirements nationwide, such as fish, rice, pork, chicken, and vegetables are sufficient. With the national rice inventory this quarter, enough to last us for 75 days. And with additional procurement of 300,000 metric tons of rice. Huwag po tayong mag-alala, tuloy-tuloy po ang supply ng pagkain. We recognize that this crisis has an impact not only on public health, but on the health of small businesses all around the country. Marami din sa inyo nag-aalala, di lamang para sa inyong pamilya, kundi ang mga babayarin. Several government institutions have programs and directives to address these concerns. The Department of Trade and Industry is currently preparing the implementation of the 1 billion peso P3 Enterprise Rehabilitation Financing Program, or ERF, which includes restart and/or restock of businesses to avoid foreclosure of their business assets. This program will start once quarantine restrictions are lifted. Kung may mga loan po kayo, huwag po kayo mag-alala. A moratorium on loans extended by the DTI via its different programs is currently in place. This moratorium on the payment of loans has benefited 127,000 micro-enterprises under the Pondo sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso or P3 program and 15,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises or MSMEs under the Small Business Corporation SB Corp corporate funded loan portfolios. Sa mga GOCCs naman sa ilalim ng Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, meron po tayong 3-month moratorium sa mga loans natin mula March 16, 2020 hanggang June 15, 2020. This measure will benefit a total of 5,521,611 Pag-ibig member borrowers and beneficiaries of the housing programs of these agencies and covers an aggregate amount of 31.4 billion pesos in amortization payments due for the 3-month period. Under this moratorium, the collection of amortization for loan repayments is suspended from March 16, 2020 to June 15, 2020. And borrowers shall not be imposed any additional interest or penalty for non-payment. The breakdown of the amount and the beneficiaries for each of the GOCCs are as follows. Sa Home Development Mutual Fund, housing loan payments worth 13.8 billion pesos covering 1 million borrowers, and multi-purpose and other short-term loans worth 16.7 billion pesos in loan payments of 4 million borrowers. Number 2, National Housing Authority. Loan repayment amortization dues in the amount of 450 million pesos covering a total of 263,611 residential accounts. Number 3, Social Housing Finance Corporation. 300 million pesos worth of monthly collections from some 240,000 informal settler families. So that's SHFC. At number 4, National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation. 165.5 million pesos in borrower payments for more than 18,000 housing units. This is a challenging time for all of us. Nasa gitna pa rin po tayo ng laban na ito. More than 2,000 of our kababayan, including DILG Secretary Ed Anyo, one of the members of the IATF, have contracted this dreaded disease. 88 of our countrymen have lost their lives to COVID-19. Kasama po dito ang mga doktor na nagbuwis ng kanilang buhay para pagalingin ang ating mga kababayan. The crisis is here and now. And how we choose to confront this threat will determine how and when we will overcome it. Nasa kamay po natin ang ating kapalaran. Kung tayo ay magkakaisa, kung tayo ay magtutulungan, kung tayo ay sama-samang kikilos laban sa COVID-19, magtatagumpay po tayo. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Together, we heal as one. Tandaan po natin, bahay muna, buhay muna. Maraming salamat po, and may God bless and protect each and every one of us. Sa puntong ito, babasahin ko po yung mga katanungan po mula sa mga kasamahan at kaibigan po natin sa media. From Rose Novenario of Hataw. Good AM, magpapatest ba si Pangulong Duterte at iba pang miyembro ng IATF dahil sa nangyari kay Secretary Anyo? Kanya-kanya po yan, kanya-kanya pong desisyon po yan kung depende sa kanyang karamdaman. So, nasa membership na po ng IATF, ang ating mga nandun sa IATF, pati na rin yung mga cabinet secretaries po natin, ating mga kalihim, kung magpapatest ba sila o hindi. Depende sa kanilang karamdaman. Ako, personally, isolated na po ako at this is, I think, day 6 ng aking isolation. Nagsimula po ang aking isolation at self-quarantine at work from home noong March 26. At habang wala pa po akong simptomas, ay hindi muna ako magpapatest. Bagamat hiwalay na po ako at isolated na po ako sa aking household at totally self-quarantine po ako ngayon. So depende sa kanya-kanyang karamdaman at kung may simptomas, then kailangan magpa-test. From Tina Mendez of Philstar. Good morning. Question: what's the IATF's stand on the request of the business community to lift the enhanced community quarantine by April 15 and instead shift to modified community quarantine? How is the government balancing public health and safety vis-a-vis economic activity at this point of the crisis? Gaya ng aking naibanggit at na-announce na po kahapon, meron po tayong dalawang technical working group na binuo under the IATF. Yung unang technical working group, under po ito sa NEDA, chaired by NEDA, at ilang mga miyembro ng ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno. At sa kanila po napunta yung assignment ng forward planning and anticipatory planning. So ibig po sabihin, sila po yung magde-define ng new normal after April 15. So kumbaga, anong ma-expect natin, anong economic activities ang pwedeng gawin, anong mangyayari sa manufacturing, sa retail, sa iba't ibang sektor at aspeto ng ating ekonomiya, at paano makapagtrabaho at makatransition sa new normal ang ating mga kababayan. Yung pangalawang technical working group na binuo po natin, ito naman po yung under ng Department of Health, na siya po yung chair ng technical working group, at siya po ang magbubuo ng mga parameters to help us determine kung paano ba ang gagawin natin after April 15 in terms ng quarantine, kung partial lifting, kung total lifting, kung ano yung mga lugar na mananatiling quarantine, etc., etc. So, yan po ay patuloy naming pag-uusapan sa IATF at patuloy na pag-uusapan niya ng Technical Working Group. Second question, the World Health Organization said the coronavirus epidemic is far from over in the Asia-Pacific region, and current measures to curb the spread of the virus are buying time for countries to prepare for large-scale community transmissions. With the government mobilizing all LGUs to prepare for quarantine areas, what is the government's projected number of infected COVID-19 patients? Can the Philippines medical system handle all, say, half or 35,000 PUMs and PUIs based on WHO's estimates, or will we seek assistance from other countries? Well, katulad ng ginagawa po natin, we are trying to flatten the curve and manage ang lahat ng itong nangyayari sa ating bansa in terms of PUIs, yung mga severe, yung critical, yung moderate na PUIs, yung mild na PUIs, ang positive COVID-19 na severe and critical, moderate and mild na COVID-19 patients natin, and then yung PUIs, and then yung PUMs. So, it's far from over. Totoo po yun because, alam niyo po, habang wala pa pong vaccine, ito na nga yung sinasabi nating new normal. Kasi, ang mangyayari po dito, kahit magta-transition na po tayo dun sa tinatawag nating new normal, kailangan naka-implement pa po yung mga social distancing measures, kailangan maingat pa rin po tayo, dahil habang nandyan pa yung threat ng COVID-19 at wala pong vaccine, then kailangan lagi po tayong mag-iingat. Kaya magpapatuloy pa po yung trabaho natin sa pag-issue ng mga guidelines para to ensure na hindi na naman magkaroon ng massive local transmissions. So just to manage everybody's expectations, hindi naman po ibig sabihin na by April 15, wala na po tayong COVID-19. Nandyan pa rin po yung threat na yan kasi nga wala pa tayong bakuna. So, totoo po yun, it's not over yet, pero ang gusto lang po natin ma-manage na hindi siya kakalat ng ganun ka widespread, no? At lahat ng mga makakakuha at mahawa ng COVID-19 ay naalagaan natin at mas marami tayong recovery, no, kaysa sa death. So we need to make sure na i-minimize natin up to zero yung deaths and more recoveries po ang makikita natin. Can we say na abot sa 35,000? With everybody's cooperation, hindi na po tayo pupunta sa 35,000 patients. Basta ang lahat po ay mag-cooperate. Yun po ang iniiwasan natin. Siyempre, pag umabot tayo 35,000 or 75,000, overwhelmed na po talaga ang ating health care and health facilities, pati ang ating mga health workers. Kaya, ginagawa po natin ang lahat ng mga hakbang na maaari natin gawin para hindi po tayo umabot sa puntong yan. But nevertheless, yung preparations na ginagawa po natin ay nandyan na po, no? In terms of PPEs, medical supplies, medicines, and yung facilities natin. Gaya ng sinabi namin kahapon, ay na-identify na po natin yung mga big facilities tulad ng World Trade, ng Rizal Memorial Center, Coliseum, yung PICC, at marami pa po tayong mga na-identify na mga big facilities para pang isolation at quarantine. Provincial, city, municipal, down to the barangay level ay naka-identify na rin po sila. Tapos may maritime vessels pa tayo na maaari natin gamitin na quarantine or isolation facilities, at meron pa po mga hotels and similar establishments na na-identify na rin po natin down to the regional level. So lahat po ng regions ay naka-inventaryo na po ang lahat ng maaari nating pwedeng gamitin kung sakasakaling kailangan nating gamitin ang lahat ng mga iyan. Next. Will we seek assistance from other countries? Siyempre, kung may tulong pong may bibigay ang iba't ibang mga bansa. And we have been asking help from other countries, katulad na rin ng pag-procure natin ng mga PPEs at iba pang mga kagamitan. Joseph Morong of GMA. Yesterday, Chief Implementor General Carlito Galvez said that government will massively force quarantine PUIs, PUMs to isolate cases. Public seems to like the idea of segregation. What will be the mechanisms? All PUIs, PUMs will be in the quarantine areas, including VIPs. With regard to the level of contamination, from a crisis management perspective, as IATF, do you think that COVID-19 is more widespread, such that it is really very difficult to manage? What aggressive actions do you think should be done? In the President's report to Congress, it was said there that the emergency subsidy program will be rolled out today, April 1. Tuloy ito? Yes, tuloy po ito, April 1. Niro-roll out na po natin yung sa social amelioration package mula sa DSWD, mula sa Department of Labor and Employment. Ang DAR is always also implementing. The DA will also help out. Lahat po ng ahensya ng gobyerno ay tutulong po dito. And we will be needing obviously the help ng ating mga LGUs. Has it been really difficult to manage? Siyempre may mga challenges po tayo. But all of these challenges we have been overcoming. Lahat ng mga challenges na yan, we face it head on. Hinahanapan po namin ng solusyon. Nagpapasalamat din po kami sa private sector who on their own initiatives have also helped us overcome itong mga challenges na ito. Yung tungkol sa pag-isolate, no? So, ang step-by-step process po na gagawin po natin, gaya ng sinabi ko, naka-identify na po tayo ng mga isolation and quarantine facilities tulad po nung sinabi ko na, PICC, World Trade at Rizal Memorial. So, the way we will manage this is uunahin po muna namin i-manage yung mga COVID-19 positives. So, yung severe and critical and even moderate, ay gusto po natin lahat sila ay nandun sa hospital. So, we have to make sure na yung hospital bed capacity ay intact. We have to make sure na may mga hospital beds po ang ating mga PUI patient, ang ating mga COVID-19 patients. And we have to prioritize moderate, severe, and critical patients. No? Then yung sa mild, pwede po natin i-house yung mild na COVID-19 doon sa mga areas na kung saan pwedeng magsama-sama, no, ang lahat ng mga mild. Dahil kung hindi pa naman critical at hindi pa naman moderate yung kanilang level, ay maaari naman silang i-isolate, no, as a group yung mga mild na COVID-19 positive patients natin. Then yung after that, after ma-manage natin lahat na yan, dito naman po tayo magko-concentrate sa PUIs. So yung mga PUIs po sila dahil meron po silang mga meron silang mga symptoms. Pero dahil hinihintay pa natin yung mga test results nila, then we want to isolate them muna in a way na since hindi pa naman natin alam kung meron silang COVID-19, ay dapat isolated sila from each other. At isolated din po sila sa kanilang mga pamilya. So dahil may symptoms na po sila, symptomatic na sila, at presumably nag-test na at hinihintay natin yung test nila, dahil hindi pa tayo sigurado na COVID-19 positive na sila, kinakailangan na hiwalay natin sila sa kanilang pamilya at sa population, pero kailangan hiwa-hiwalay din sila sa iba't ibang mga PUIs. So kailangan single room occupancy po ang ibibigay natin na setup para sa kanila. So yun muna yung aming ipaprioritize, and then the next na naman po would be the PUMs. So yung mga PUMs, sila po yung mga asymptomatic At sila po yung, hindi pa natin alam kung positive sila or negative dahil hindi pa sila nagtetest. So in the meantime, nag-usap-usap po kami sa IATF kung paano ang gagawin natin sa mga PUMs. So ideally, syempre gusto rin natin sila mahiwalay sa population kahit asymptomatic sila. But they are PUMs dahil may close contact sila sa mga positive. No? So yun is an ongoing discussion sa IATF. Pero yung order of priority, ganun po ang ginagawa natin. Joyce Balancio of DZMM. To clarify, yung 5,000 to 8,000 assistance na ibibigay sa 18 million low-income households ay hindi ba ibibigay as full monetary assistance? Sa interview po kasi kay DSWD spokesperson Dumlao, sinabi niyang hindi pala buo na 5 to 8,000. Some of the amount will be used to buy food packs. Then kung ano matitira sa amount, yun lang ang ibibigay as cash assistance. Can you clarify? Yung 5,000 to 8,000 po, ang pagbigay natin yan, depende po sa region kasi yung amount, kaya range yun, 5 to 8,000. Kasi range yun because yung amount na ibibigay natin ay depende po sa minimum wage ng region na yon. Now, ang tanong, so may 5,000, may 5,500, may 6,000, may 6,500, may 7,500, may 8, no? So, parang example, gano'n, no? Depende po sa minimum wage ng region na yon. Now, ang tanong is, yung ibang amount doon ay gagamitin daw for food packs, no? Kaya hindi, sabihin natin, hindi buo na 5,500 or hindi buo na 6. Well, ang pagkakaalam ko ay dahil isa lamang siguro yung pinanggagalingan ng source na to at yung inallocate na pondo, baka may chance na gano'n na nga, na may butal, kumbaga. Pero I'm not sure really about this, no? Kung may butal ba talaga or butal ang ibibigay. At ima-minus yung food assistance mula sa cash assistance na yun. So we'll have to check on this. Joseph Morong, have you been tested for COVID? And what is the result? After my quarantine dito and self-isolation, hindi po ako nagpa-test because I'm asymptomatic. From Sheila Francisco, TV5, sinabi ng DA na checkpoint protocols at city and barangay roads will be adjusted to ease movements of agri-products. Anong klaseng adjustments ito? Adjustments. Hindi ko po alam anong adjustments ang pinag-uusapan dito. Siguro ang ibig lang pong sabihin, dahil paulit-ulit naman po namin sinasabi na all cargo is unhampered. So the supply of cargo, whatever it is unhampered. So siguro just a reiteration and emphasis sa lahat ng ating mga enforcers, lalong-lalo na sa checkpoints, na pag cargo po yan, lalong-lalo na pag food supplies, ay dapat tuloy-tuloy po at hindi hinaharang. From Rosalie Cos, UNTV. Kung lalabas ako para bumili ng pagkain at hindi ako pinayagan, ano ang gagawin ko? At kung wala akong makain, wala akong pambiling pagkain, ano ang gagawin ko? Hintayin ko po ba ang LGU na puntahan ako? Kung hindi po ako mapuntahan ng ilang araw, paano na? Ano bang asahang relief goods? 3 wave daw ito, galing barangay, munisipyo, probinsya at sa national government. Okay, ang unang nag-respond po sa mga kababayan natin na naghihirap at yung mga marginalized, yung mga mahihirap nating mga kababayan, yung mga kababayan natin in need, ay yung LGU. Gamit po yung kanilang Quick Response Fund. So, yun po yung naunang nagbigay po ng tulong sa ating mga kababayan. Yung susunod po, ito na po yung from the Social Amelioration Package. At ang uunahin po naming ibibigay at ipamamahagi ay yung sa food assistance po. So yun po yung next natin, ang food assistance. At gaya ng sinabi ko, mauna po yung mula sa listahan ng national government. Dahil ang national government ay meron naman pong inventory at database po ng mga beneficiaries ng iba't ibang mga programa ng gobyerno, particularly DSWD, no? So, yun muna yung gagamitin nating database sa pag-identify at pagbigay ng social amelioration or yung food assistance. Habang ginagawa yan, patuloy din po yung pagkokolekta ng DSWD ng listahan mula sa LGUs para to make sure na walang makaligtaan. Para yung listahan ng LGUs na wala naman sa database ng national government ay mabigyan din ng food assistance. So pag nabigay na po ang lahat ng food assistance, yung susunod na po yung sa financial assistance. Kasi by that time, ma-combine na po natin ang listahan ng national government pati yung sinubmit ng LGU. So, ganun po yung mangyayari. Yung tungkol sa paglabas po at hindi kayo pinayagan, palagay ko po na-emphasize naman po natin sa guidelines na isang miyembro lamang po ng pamilya yung maaring lumabas para bumili ng pagkain. So siguro yung sa katanungan mo, makipag-ugnayan na lang siguro sa inyong LGU or sa inyong barangay kung sino ba sa pamilya ninyo yung authorized na lumabas para bumili ng pagkain. From Jen Kabiling, Manila Bulletin. Number 1, will the IATF consider Presidential Advisor Joey Concepcion's pronouncement that the Luzon can't afford another month of lockdown since it will hurt the economy and businesses? Number 2, is selective or barangay-based quarantine an option for the government? What are the factors to prompt such action? Siguro, hindi ko muna pangunahan kung ano man ang magiging desisyon ng dalawang technical working groups na binuo ng IATF. Dahil sila po yung inatasan namin na bumuo ng anticipatory planning at yung forward planning po for the April 15. And sila rin po yung inatasan namin na bumuo at mag-identify na mga parameters at mag-set ng parameters para po ito yung magiging basis namin kung ano ang gagawing desisyon ng IATF by April 15. From Arian Meres of ABS-CBN News Online. Number 1, paano po ba yung process mag-report ng barangay na hindi nagbibigay ng tulong? DILG po, diretso na po sa DILG. Number 2, Presidential Advisor Joey Concepcion is pushing for barangay-based lockdown. Paano po ito and what's the IATF take on this? Nasagot ko na po. Depende po yun. Ayokong pangunahan ang maging desisyon ng technical working groups namin. Sila ang bubuo ng plano, ipepresent nila sa IATF, pag-uusapan namin sa IATF at maglalabas kami ng desisyon. Number 3, there's no vaccine or cure yet for COVID-19. So what will trigger the lifting of the lockdown just by flattening the curve? Gaya ng sinabi ko po, yung technical working group ang magbibigay at magre-rekomenda ng mga parameters for us to determine ano ang gagawin nating mga hakbang by April 15. So kung ma-imagine nyo po, gagawa sila ng mga parameters and basis, gagawa sila ng recommendations, anong options po namin, and pag-uusapan namin sa IATF. Lahat ng options based on lahat ng parameters. Again, siguro i-emphasize na lang po natin ito. Sa puntong ito, science po or siyensya or agham ang gagamitin nating basis or basihan sa pagde-decide ng IATF na mga hakbang na dapat nating gawin at ang mga desisyon na dapat naming gawin. So, it will be based on science, it will be based on numbers, It will be based on facts and figures, and it will totally depend on the cooperation of everybody. From Henry Uri, DZRH, pwede po bang ipakiusap ng IATF sa mga supermarket na i-extend ang store hours until midnight para hindi magsisiksikan on daytime ang mamimili? Sige po, amin po itong i-take up sa IATF, pag-usapan namin dahil may IATF meeting naman po kami today. At banggitin po namin ito, syempre, pag-usapan namin ito, no? Especially with the Secretary ng Department of Trade and Industry, si Sec. Mon Lopez. So, yun lamang po ang mga katanungan. Sana po ay nasagot ko po ang lahat ng mga tanong. May meeting po kami ng IATF ngayong araw na ito. At siguro mamaya-maya po pagkatapos ng meeting, kung anong oras man matatapos yun, just for the information of everybody, pag nami-meeting po ang IATF, ilang oras po yan? Umabot kami ng 10 hours or 12 hours dahil napakarami po ang pinag-uusapan namin at dinidesisyon po ng aming task force. No? So, depende po, either mamayang gabi, magbibigay tayo ng mga announcements or kung hindi, bukas ng umaga ay ibabahagi po namin yung anuman mga desisyon na ginawa ng IATF. So mga kababayan, muli ang aming pakiusap na please stay at home. Nakikita nyo naman na kahit kami sa gobyerno ay hindi po immune dito sa COVID-19. Meron pong may mga matataas na opisyal po na tinamaan na, pero rest assured na tuloy-tuloy pa po ang trabaho ng gobyerno. If ever nakapagbigay po ito ng mas malaking inspirasyon para sa amin na gawin ang mga nararapat at mas magtatrabaho pa kami para talunin itong COVID-19 na ito. So, inaasahan po namin ang kooperasyon at suporta ng bawat isang Pilipino. Magtulungan po tayo dito. Dahil kung wala po kayo at hindi po tayo magtulungan dito, hindi po natin matatalo itong COVID-19 na ito. So, mga kababayan, God bless po sa inyong lahat. Tandaan po natin, bahay muna, buhay muna. Maraming salamat po, and may God bless and protect all of us. Daghang salamat.
This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance